everyone, it's Sinthiya Saya and welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know, I'm an intuitive tarot oracle reader. I am also an intuitive life coach, and today I have an amazing pick a card reading for you. It is, what is your person or the person on your mind, what are they currently thinking? Like, what is going on with them? What is going on with the connection? We're really going to go into depth with this reading, or as much as possible. Like, I just kind of channel the energies and the emotions and things because I'm an empath, so I can always just pick up on people's feelings and things like that. But I'm also going to be able to directly communicate what maybe the angels, guide, spirit does have for you about this connection, any advice that they have for you. So really it's kind of a bit more of a longer extension for those of you who follow my TikTok and for those of you who also follow my Instagram. Okay, so we have 4 different piles for you to choose from. We have pile number 1, which is the effort card. Oh, I am so sorry that like kind of flipped around there. So if you're drawn to these lovely colors and everything, that's pile number 1. That might be for you, or there's going to be some messages in there for you. Also, just a reminder, take what resonates and leave what does not. We also have the memories card. So this is for pile number 2. So if you're drawn to that for some reason, then there's maybe messages in there for you. We also have pile number 3, which is this one. It's trust. I love this card. And then we also have pile number 4, which is open up. And yeah, if you're drawn to this card, maybe it's pile number 4 for you. Okay, so obviously choose the pile you're most drawn to, and then timestamps are below. Let's head over into your reading. Okay, so this is for those who chose pile number 1, which is the effort card, and I'm just going to put that over there. I'm sorry about the sun, that's kind of like showing up right now. So we have, I want to know more about you, but if I remember correctly, it's, you are magical to me, I want to know more about you, and I am manifesting. I think this is the way it was. Okay, that's what spirit wants, so I'm just going to go with it. And then we also have community. We also have illumination. Just going to see if you guys can see. Well, maybe I'm going to move these up just a little bit so you guys can see everything. We also have, when I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. And we have heighten your vitality. Okay, so immediately what I picked up from when I was kind of like tuning into the energy of pile number 1, I do feel like you guys are potentially very much your psychic, your intuitive, your manifestors, or your light worker, you're a healer. But the point is, I feel like you are individuals who have incredible amounts of like healing powers and things like this. Okay, but as such, what I do feel in terms of like the energetic structure is that you are also someone who has not had, how do I say it? I feel like feeling like you've not really necessarily been massively supported by the universe. And that is because obviously, you know, you do shine a very different light. You are very magnetic. You are very powerful. You're very attractive. So what I mean by this is maybe in school, you were kind of the one that was the odd one out. You didn't necessarily feel like you could fit in, or like, you know, you were maybe the person that was kind of considered like a bit of a troublemaker or the rebel, or like you even found like teachers to be very like unsupportive, or like your parents couldn't necessarily understand you. So this is kind of what I'm picking up on, but I feel like this is just because you are individuals who shine a very bright light, and what you don't realize is that your light can massively trigger what we call like the darkness in others. But what we mean by darkness is it's like the bits that are untrue in other people. So the bits that are untrue in other people is like people who might have a programming of not necessarily feeling worthy or deserving or enough. And it's like, because you are light, that's like, oh, I am worthy, I am deserving, I am enough, you know? And someone around you doesn't necessarily feel like they're worthy, they're going to basically project their kind of worthiness issues on you, making it feel like it was your issue. Okay, but this is not what I'm necessarily saying. I feel like this is just your energy in general. But I do feel like with this particular person that is currently thinking about you, I feel like Well, to them, you are someone that is very ethereal. You're very much different. They can see that. They do love that about you. I feel like this person does have a general curiosity about you. But what I do feel is, the universe is kind of saying, like, don't feel like you have to be the one that it's like you don't have to be self-reliant. It's like working out the balance here. This is what you need to do. You need to just actually be able to let go and allow yourself to receive. And maybe this is because you never really received the support from the beginning. So you've kind of walked into adulthood being like, well, I have to be really self-reliant. So it's almost like you won't really allow I kind of feel like I'm going to say like the masculine energy, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the masculine energy. You can just resonate with whichever energy is kind of currently coming out. But it's almost like, allowing them to be the provider, or like allowing them to kind of take hold of like situations. So if you're someone who is used to doing everything for yourself, it's almost like you're not necessarily allowing this person to kind of do their bit, which is like, hey, let me take off some of the workload, let me do some of the stuff, okay? And that almost can feel very difficult, especially if you are someone who has created that construct within yourself. Like, it can really feel like a very huge like trigger almost, but it's not like it's personal. I feel like this person just sees that, they would love to be something beautiful in your life. They want to be something that can take the weight off your shoulders, I feel, and be a bit of a supporter to your dreams, your goals, your visions. But in order for that to happen, it's like you have to allow that space within yourself to let that happen, right? I do also feel like, with community and illumination, community was definitely strongly suggesting to me, like, maybe if you are someone who is a light worker and you have been doing the inner work, you're going to start seeing the results definitely within your family members and things like this. But I also feel like, this person may come from a background where they have had a strong community support them and bring them up in a way where it's like, support naturally comes to them. They've never necessarily had to live in the fear of the unknown, because they've always just known that they're supported in magnanimous ways. And almost to see you as someone who's never really had that, it's like, let me show you, let me introduce you almost into this community where we are very supportive towards each other. And I feel like this is definitely going to allow you to feel very safe and secure in you. Like, this person will be able to kind of help you feel very safe and secure in you. But you have to remember that you are your own source of safety and security. This person could just be a little bit of a light in not showing you like, here, I'm going to take your hand and show you how to do it. It's a bit like, here's this vibration of support and security, and you then have that ability to create that within yourself. And with the illumination card, I feel like this person, I would say definitely don't put them on a little bit of a pedestal, but I feel like this person is illuminating these kind of ways of support towards you. But I feel like if we were going to look at this on a universal stance, it is sort of saying, learn how to receive support, learn how to receive your own sense of security, but not from a place of like drive and push. It's a place of alignment and allowing and relaxing and letting things flow to you. I feel like with the heighten your vitality card, when you're kind of in these kind of push like energies, like you're really trying to push forward to try and make things happen, I feel like sometimes with the sacral energy or your creative energy can almost like do a bit of I'm not going to actually say a drop or anything, like I don't think that's what I'm trying to say. I think I'm trying to say it's almost like let yourself it's almost like you'll suddenly start feeling tired for sex or something along the lines of this. It's like, oh, I'm way too tired to do this, or oh, I can't do this, and they're sort of saying, you know, heightening your vitality is going to allow you to have more energy to sort of do more things, like, and this will naturally come when you start to feel very supported within yourself. Like I said, this person, I feel like, kind of sees you as someone that they do want to support. But I think with the universe, it's almost a bit like, you know, you have to kind of remind yourself you are your own source of support with your own alignment, and it is easy and effortless and graceful. It doesn't have to come from this push, hard work, hard drive, because that is almost kind of like zapping your energy, and they want your energy to be very much in this beautiful alignment as such. So we're going to definitely have a look into the tarot cards just to kind of see what is your person currently thinking. I kind of want to leave these three. Okay, I'm going to leave these three on the side. You're magical to me. I just want to see what is currently going on with your person. Okay, so we have the Knight of Swords. What is actually really going on? We have the Seven of Swords. Six of Swords. Okay. Ah. Yes. Okay. I'm going to pull the World card out because that wanted to come out. Maybe I'll just kind of shift this along here so you guys can definitely see. So if you are someone who hasn't necessarily been able to receive support, I think that definitely kind of came across in a very self-sabotagey way. And what I mean by self-sabotage is that where this person may have been massively focused on their finances or work situation, it's almost like your self-sabotage created a scenario, and this scenario could have meant betrayal, self-consciousness, or any of this, and kind of blew over. But I do feel like you guys would be moving into smoother waters. I basically feel like that just did not happen. Whatever you thought did happen in your head. I think I should say that right now. But with the Judgment card and the World, I do feel like it's like you kind of have to, how do I say it? With the Judgment card, it always talks about an awakening. Now, if you're someone who's had relationships and then you're like someone who says, you know, I'm repeating the same cycle, right? Is it quite possible that, you know, it's your vibration that's like, it's almost like the things that are popping up in your head might be the same stories, but how can it be the same person? It's a different person, you know? But clear out the vibration so that you can actually start anew. I do feel like this person may potentially be someone who either travels a lot or they do live at a distance, but I do feel like it's more like to do with traveling for their work purposes, and that may create some sort of like anxiety or stress or things in your head where you're basically saying, oh my god, what's really happening, and I'm like, well, I'm going to basically say I just don't think anything really is happening. They are very much focused on their work, but I do feel like your angels, guides, and spirit team want you to work within yourself, the reasons why you're creating those stories, where did it come from, and then also just clear it, like, you know, clear and transmute it, because some of those mental fears are not, like, I say some, I think most of them are just not the truth of what's actually going on. And if you can allow the eternal loving presence, or like that loving nature, which is your natural essence and your natural being, to convey the truth, you would feel a lot more peace, a lot more at peace with this particular connection. Because I do feel like with the World card, this person, like, they're not gonna stop traveling. You know, they're like, I think if it is part of their job or their work or situation, or like, you know, their family just loves traveling in general, you know, can't satiate your sense of security. So I can see how in the oracle card, safety and security was definitely coming in, support was definitely coming in. It's to remind yourself that you are safe, you are secure, and you are supported by the universe, right? And this person is like basically a representation of that. And it's almost like for you to actually also learn that, rather than thinking that the world is kind of against you. It's actually working for you. It's actually working with you. And it wants to give you everything that you want. But, you know, you have to be the one that kind of believes in that. We do have Temperance. We do have the Page of Cups. We do have the Fool. We have the Emperor. We do have the Five of, and we do have the Knight of Coins. Okay, so I do feel like I said this person may be very financially stable and secure in themselves. That is going to be a natural product of someone who does feel very safe and secure in who they are. But I do feel like, you know, with these cards, it is suggesting that this person is going to be very much in their power no matter what. Like they are very solid in who they are, right? I feel like this person does see so much potential in you, but can also see the other side, the darker, like, I don't want to say the dark parts, like it's like the shadow parts of you, where you're allowing self-sabotage to kind of get the better of you. And you know, they kind of want you to just really, you know, really put yourself into, I want to say put yourself into an alignment with love, but it's kind of recognizing, you know, come on, like I really, like this person would have been like, I haven't really done anything, you know, it's and that's not to say like I do feel like this person can create a work-life balance, but it's almost like, or at least that they're certainly trying to. But it's very interesting, because they've kind of almost created it within themselves, you know, they can only hold the vibration. They can't hold your hand and take you, right? And I feel like that's what the universe is trying to say here. You know, this person's not going to hold your hand and try to show you, like, this is how you do it, because that's not going to resolve their inner feelings within that's going on. It's a case of they want you to be able to work this out within yourself so that you can become. And where you feel like there may have been a level of abandonment on their part, it's actually you needing to go within. Like, we've got the Five of Pentacles here. That strongly suggests to me like the dark night of the soul. But it's really, really, really recognizing those fear-based thoughts that are currently being pushed into your mind, or like you think that they're in your mind and they're creating these stories and things. And if it is in alignment with fear, it is not the truth. And this is something, this is why they say it's the inner work. This is something that you need to really kind of get through. It's, you know, that's your dark night, but you need to remember that on the light hand side, is it true you're not loved? Is it true you're not cared for? No, of course you are loved. Of course you are cared for. Of course you are supported. Of course you are secure. So everything that has been created right up until that point cannot be the truth. And this is like something you have to do within the alignments of doing the inner work, right? And I feel like the more that you actually start to do that, the more you start to really raise your vibration. I feel like this person is definitely going to sort of change their minds even about you and like come back, but they will want to take things very slowly. That's if you actually want this person though, I'm just saying. Because I do feel like either you guys are like in a no contact situation, or you're kind of talking very like scarcely, or, you know, this person is kind of doing this thing where, of course, you know, they're doing their own thing, like with work and whatever, but it's almost like, you know, where you should be kind of focused doing your thing, you might be doing this focusing on them type thing. And, you know, the more you kind of put that energy there, that's actually going to push them away. Whereas if you're actually focused on you and you're doing you, then this is where everything can come naturally in alignment. So that's just something to consider. I do feel like this person potentially could be looking towards like a promotion or some sort of level up that is currently going on. This person is financially stable and secure, but they may not necessarily have their emotions in check. Like this person could be a bit of a workaholic, but you know, it's kind of one of those things where I do feel like this person is very grounded. They're very, very grounded. With this Temperance and the Page of Cups, this is definitely strongly suggesting to me this person does want to have balance. Like they want to have this kind of very calm, stoic, kind of very balanced relationship. So it's like, I do feel like this person, like I said, does see that potential in you. They can see that you can handle yourself with grace. Because you know what? I think it's the case that this person may actually be seeing that outside you. And maybe the outside of you is like, yeah, sure, whatever. But actually inside you're like, oh my God, right? So I'm going to tell you something about energy. Energy, it doesn't matter how you show up in front of them. Energy is energy. Everyone can feel energy. Like we can always feel it. And energy doesn't lie. I feel like this person knows and can see that potential within you, but it is a case of you doing a little bit of that inner work. This person does, I would say, definitely does like you. With the Knight of Coins, this is strongly indicating to me, you know, wanting, it's not like the Knight of Wands, which is basically the biggest F-boy in the world. The Knight of Coins is actually going to be the one where they build they're very steady, they're very secure, very pragmatic about how they do things, but it may be slow and steady, but it's like for sure. It's like the done deal. It's like they would never go back because they're very, very secure in the choices that they make. And I feel like this person really wants to kind of give you this cup of offer, but there is something that's kind of holding them back. And I feel like it could just be that energy of like anxiety or stress that you guys might be feeling within that connection. And it's almost like, you know, you have to bring yourself into a state of peace and contentment with this particular connection. Yeah, because, you know, you do need to, like, it is really just the inner work. It is really the inner work. Maybe you thought this person wasn't necessarily putting in the effort. And on this part, this person really feels like they were putting in the effort, that they do really like you. I feel like if you guys are the ones that are trying to manifest this individual, like they can certainly feel that energy. But one thing for sure is to remember how I said it's that alignment. If the energy is on them, it's like a push on their energy. It like kind of makes them want to go woo. But if you really pull yourself back and life becomes about you and you're focusing on you and you're doing you, this is where magic will just naturally unfold for you. Okay, so I do feel like these are kind of all my messages for you, pile number one. I really hope you do enjoy that reading. I am sending you all so much love, light, and blessings. Bye now. Okay, so let's head over to pile number two. So for those of you who chose this one, and let's have a look at the oracle card. So we do have relaxation, we do have success, we do have acceptance of love, and we have true healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. And we've met in a past life. I think, yeah, no. Yeah, and then it's like, I am afraid I will hurt you, and I feel the connection too. Okay, so I do feel like this particular individual probably massively triggers you, and I feel like you may be someone who also triggers this individual. That being said, though, that's not to say that there isn't love between the two of you. I do feel like this is an individual who has actually potentially created a level of success within themselves, and they are at that kind of stage in life where they do want to take a bit of a back seat, really start to relax, but it's really interesting. I'm being shown relaxation, but this person is wired for being like, I feel like this person is kind of wired to like keep going. Okay. You may be someone who has been able to create a level of your own success or do something that you love and that you enjoy, so it's very relaxing for you, and become a success. This may be a little bit of a trigger for them, because this person may have been someone who was hardwired for hard work and success. So there is a lot of triggers that are currently going on. I do feel like this person on very deep core levels doesn't necessarily feel like they're worthy, deserving, or enough in love connections. They may be someone who is a bit of a runner in situations, but there is obviously something about you where you tend to let things go very gracefully and very easily. Like, you just won't necessarily be the kind of individual to kind of leave 20, 30, 40 different messages on the phone to someone. You'll be someone who's like, okay, they're not showing up, I'm going to close the door. And you do so with such ease and effortless grace. In a way, I do feel like this person is kind of watching you, just because of like the way the jaguar is just like kind of looking straight at. I think this person, like, I feel, yeah, like, I feel like this person is really like, okay, usually I kind of pick up on like energies. I feel like this person's massively hiding. Very interesting. It's like the jaguar popping his head out in the forest. It's like, it's kind of like just wanting to kind of retreat all the time. I'm like, okay, this is just awkward, because I'm like trying to read this connection. Yeah, this is it. This is really interesting, because I don't usually get like this. But anyway, so we've met in a past life. I feel like this person definitely knows that they have some sort of very strong connection, in the sense that it kind of transcends time. It's not just in this lifetime. You guys may have had previous lives together, and they know that they have some sort of attachment. So I feel like, you know, where you guys might be like sort of seeing signs and seeing numbers and things about them, they're very much equally seeing it on their side. Like, they're going to see the first 3 letters of your name everywhere, or they're seeing angel numbers everywhere, and you know, or they're just constantly seeing people who look like you, and I feel like this person, like, you are someone that's very much in their head a lot, but it's almost like they're just not acting on it. Like, this is a very kind of, I really don't want to say it, but it feels like a very like it's just like it's like it's like, it's not even like strong, it's like a bit lazy. It's like this energy of like yeah. Anyway, so I do feel like this person does massively trigger you though as well, even though you might be someone who on the surface level can handle things very gracefully. Underneath, it's almost like, actually, you know, if they did abandon you or they did ghost you or anything, on the surface, you're not going to show any level of anything towards them. but underneath, you know, it's almost like you would cry, you would be hurt, you would be really upset. And really what's happening is, I feel like, you know, sources or like your spirit and your angels and guides are like, you know, if you go within the triggers, you go into the trigger, you're going to find something far more beautiful on the other side. Behind the triggers is always going to be gold. That's just something I've always said. Because, and it's also the key to your freedom, because when you free yourself from the events in itself, then those triggers can never really show up in your life ever again, and you're able to kind of let go. But unless you kind of let go of all the triggers, they're just going to keep showing up, right? So I do feel some sort of like level of abandonment or ghosting kind of has happened here, but I think it's just the reminder that, you know, you are loved, you are absolutely cared for in every given moment. And, you know, sort of like source shows up. Like source will show up, always show up for you. And it's like unwinding the parts of the situations where maybe you've experienced care workers or caregivers or family or society or the world or whatever. You know, all these kind of little backgrounds you've had where people never showed up for you, or like, you know, you may have been that kid who had your hand up all the time and the teacher just blatantly ignored you. Like it's almost like dealing or going into those, like, or maybe you've had experiences where your father never showed up the way that they needed to in order for you to flourish in the world. And that's the thing. It's a bit like, yeah, I feel like maybe this person could be reflecting a lot of father issues within you. So maybe you had a father that massively abandoned you. And this person's kind of showcasing that. And you know, you kind of like go in, you really do go into these parts of you, and I would say let go with forgiveness, but actually I always like to say it as, you know, you align with the truth of the situation. And the truth is, you know, you are loved, you're worthy, you're deserving, you're enough, you're supported, you're cared for, you are everything to source. And like source or the universe will always want to give you everything you want more than you want it for yourself. So what is it within the limitations that you've created that is preventing source from giving it to you, right? So this is just kind of like on the levels of what this person is actually reflecting within you. The universe is trying to get you to heal all the channels, all the parts of you that have basically been neglected, have been hurt, have been kind of screwed over or anything like that, and to align it with the truth and then become that magnet of the truth. And then that is when things will start to unfold for you. But as I said, you know what, I'm going to have a look into the tarot readings, but I definitely want to say one thing, even though this person may have ghosted or abandoned or anything like this, and it's because like on some really weird level they may have very much low self-esteem, and you might be someone who is incredibly out of this world beautiful. And you know what, actually that would make a lot of sense. If you are someone who knows you are magnetically out of this world beautiful, and this person kind of considers themselves like maybe Av or something along the lines of this, and even like other people, like maybe it's other women and men, but when you are someone that shines a bit of that kind of light, it's going, and when you think about the world in general, because I kind of just see it as energy, when you look at the world and then you got the era of the social media and everything, when you are someone who can fully own, you know, that you are who you are, and you know, you like people would look at you and be very dazzled and find you breathtaking, this can massively trigger a lot of the wounds of like people who don't necessarily feel worthy and deserving of you. And you know, it can also trigger other like people to want to just, I don't want to say take it away, but it's almost like, you know, it's a bit like You know, they will want to do that to you, but not necessarily realizing it is something to do with themselves and not you, right? So that wasn't necessarily best explained, but I do feel, like I said, this person does actually have mutual feelings for you. They're just very, it's almost like this person is so blasé about everything. Like, maybe they don't even know what it is. Or even that, it could also be that this person has been someone that has been put on the pedestal so much. Might be a bit of a mama's boy. Oh my God, if that is the case, run a mile. Never mind. To have something so extraordinarily out of this world is something almost like, it's almost like they just don't want to go through the unfolding of things going wrong, instead of thinking of the things unfolding and going right. And because they're thinking on that wavelength of wrongness, it's like, well, rather than going and putting myself through that, I'm just gonna close the door right now. You know, it's just a very, yeah. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm basically picking up on. It's not the greatest. You guys, yeah. Okay, let's have a look and see what the cards have to say. We have the Page of Wands. We have Temperance. Okay. We have Six of Cups. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. We've got Memory, Six of Cups, and you've met in a past life. Like, you guys do have some very strong nostalgic kind of feelings. I feel like this is definitely someone from your past that is non-stop thinking about you. They are distressed about a work situation not necessarily working out. And it's almost like they can't get to you. That could very much be it. They're not having luck with like work situation. Okay, well, this is going to make sense why their worthiness and deservedness is getting like really sucker punched at the moment. But it feels like this person may potentially be living at a distance. But it's interesting with the Five of Cups here, that's definitely being showcased, is that this person's focusing on the negative and not the positive. Like, the mind goes into that state instead of the positive state, which is upwards. They do really like you. They wanted to take serious action towards you. They love the fact that you are graceful and you are balanced. You are also ethereal. You're just something out of the ordinary to them. You're also someone that brings out a little bit of that childlike play, having fun. And I think that that kind of really, you know, made them feel like very excited, although they probably tried to hold it back for some part. I think this person's really self-conscious about like what the thoughts, opinions, and judgments of other people. Like, they're really not very much in their power, and this may have been because this person was a bit of a people pleaser. If this person is a bit of a people pleaser, they're going to be someone who like wears a lot of masks on the outside but won't necessarily reveal who they truly are underneath, and it's going to be very difficult and almost quite triggering for this person. Okay, I feel like this person did walk away from the connection. That is definitely what is being showcased here, after having a contemplation period and rest in, you know, contemplation. That it's almost like, put it this way, they're looking everything on the outside world instead of naturally relying on faith. And because they're not relying on the faith, you know, things are just evolving, and they focus too much on the negative, and then they just suddenly thought, you know what, the only fair thing to do would be to kind of let you go, because I can't really obviously get my SHIT together. But that is not to say that they didn't want to take action, that they didn't care. I feel like this person does really still massively care for you. because I feel like this person does watch you from a distance, but it's almost like it could be quite painful for them to watch you at a distance, like really trying to put you out of their mind, but in reality it's almost like you're just swimming around in their minds. I'm gonna actually kind of ask source, because I kind of want to, again, they've kind of moved into his work situation. It's hiding. Oh, I picked up the hiding. Okay, you are reflecting a huge, massive shadow aspect of themselves that they're not necessarily wishing to look into. So maybe in this connection, you could have been someone that was very accommodating to them. And if you were accommodating or you were overgiving, that's something for you to reflect on. And I feel like that's because you may have taken on the role. Like, basically, there is a huge, huge, huge progress. Sorry if I basically kind of went poof. There is like a huge thing, kind of programming-esque thing in the world, particularly it's basically women playing the supportive role to men, like putting men on the pedestal a little bit. And it's very interesting because I did say it feels like he came from that kind of background where he was put on the pedestal. And if you did do that, you're massively reflecting a shadow aspect of himself that he needs to look into, which is he is playing the supportive role in his life because ultimately he's not being in his power. But then it's also kind of like that reflect. It's like you guys are like mirroring, but you kind of need to see what the shadows were. You are playing that role. You need to be in your power. And I feel like actually, for the most part, you guys are actually stepping more into your power, because from Page to King, whether you're a woman or a guy watching this, you are taking charge of your life right now. And that feels like something you're doing because how everything's escalated. You're like, screw this, I'm gonna just be in my power now. But if in the connection you were over-accommodating, you were over-giving, or you were people-pleasing, or anything like that, it is highlighting you are not the supporting role to other people and their goals, dreams, and visions. You are the powerhouse. You are the light of your dreams, goals, and visions, right? Everyone is their own powerhouse with their own goals, dreams, and visions. And ideally, when people get together, they're each other's sprinkles on the cake. That's kind of the idea of it, right? But it's interesting because if this person did feel that from you, like you were overgiving, and they were just like, oh, like, it's interesting. The judgment, their shadow self, is the fact that they overgive. They overgive potentially in their work life, and they don't have a work-life balance. And, you know, that is an aspect of themselves that maybe they're refusing to look into. But until they've actually looked into it, they're going to consistently attract people, places, partners, or anything like that is consistently going to show up like that in their reality. And they need to take that level of accountability. They can, however, with the Chariot card and King of Swords, they can step into their power. They can step into their power in any given moment. But there's almost like, it's almost like, and if they did, they would really naturally step into the King of Swords energy. But they have to kind of acknowledge the shadow aspect of themselves. So this is kind of, and it's very interesting because where they may be very critical of people who overgive to him or to them, sorry if I said him, overcritical to people who overgive to them. It's really interesting. I've noticed something about my voice here. I don't know if this person has a little bit of a self-righteousness to them, because my voice is like doing this like a push, as if it's like kind of judgmental and like really pushy on, and I feel like maybe that's their energy. But yeah, it's just very interesting. This person needs to go through a bit of an awakening. And I think the way the universe might be trying to do it is like not allowing things to work out, so that they can actually go, you know what, this person's just reflecting you and you need to sort it out. Like, you need to create some sort of balance. Like I said, I do feel like this person is currently watching you. I feel like it's also one of those things where maybe at the time they didn't realize what they lost until it had gone, and they have felt it energetically go. So this is very interesting. I do feel like this person might have a bit of ego. So there's a lot of inner child healing and shadow work that probably needs to get done. It's just because I can also hear my voice going like pushing and I'm like, whoa, that's kind of not really me. I feel like this might be them. And King of Swords is always about communication. So that might be suggestive about their energy. Although the King of Swords is always very calm. So yeah, it feels like in order, like when they step into that power, their level of proving themselves worthy. Okay. Well, yeah, people pleasing, proving themselves worthy. There's going to be a natural push if they're certainly in competitive environments. See, like my voice going pew, pew. And I'm like, oh, okay. But the King of Swords energy is someone who's like, well, I'm now calling the shots. I'm doing everything. I'm playing the game. That kind of thing, right? So it feels like this person has a little bit of shadow work to be doing and inner child healing. So yeah, I do hope you did enjoy this reading, and it did kind of create a little bit of enlightenment about what was actually really going on with this person. Like I said, I do feel like there is feelings, but I feel like this is definitely something to do more with them than it ever had to do with you. Like, it definitely had nothing to do with you. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, until next time, sending you all so much love, light, and blessings. Bye now. Okay, so this is for those who chose pile number 3, which is the trust card. Those of you who chose trust. It's really beautiful, this connection, like tuning into this energy. There feels like a lot of like surrendering, trusting, faith, universe. I kind of love it. It's like believing in the magic of the universe. So we do have seek beauty. We do have, oh, I'm going to put that there. We do have embracing. We have release, seek beauty. I recognize that I have chosen fear and I choose again. I choose love. I feel like we're in different dimensions, but we value the same things, and I'm still recovering. Okay, so I feel like some sort of communication has happened where maybe like it was very heated. There was a lot of fear. There was a lot of trigger type thing going on, and this has kind of created like a little bit of a distance. I do feel like though this person is thinking about communicating with you. Yes, that is definitely something. But you know what it is? It's when it's calling about seek the beauty, I feel like not only does this person see you as very, very beautiful, but it's almost like knowing the beauty within yourself as well. You know, it's not just that you are astoundingly, incredibly beautiful on the outside. It's also that you are loving, kind, nurturous and compassionate within yourself as well. It's almost like never allowing the outside world to dictate the truth of the inner world. And the truth of the inner world is that you are love, you are beauty, you are grace, you are compassion, you are kindness. These are values. These are things which, you know, I feel like this person does know and can see within you, you know. In terms of like the energetic alignments, I feel like this is very, like, I feel, how do I say it? If you chose pile number 3, you are someone I feel is very spiritual. I feel like you are someone who's also probably doing the work, you're doing the inner work, or, you know, you have to do, you know, get choose love over fear, that, you know, doing the inner child healing, you're doing the shadow work. I feel like you are someone who has naturally taken accountability for the events that have already transpired. And, you know, you are embracing the fact that those triggers really never had anything to do with them as much as it may have had to do with something from the past. Now, you know, you're really shifting into these alignments of trusting, asking, believing, and then you're actually receiving. Like, I feel like you are someone who is a manifester. You live and breathe as the manifester. You live and breathe love into this world. You are just that emanation of it. Like, I absolutely love this part because there is just so much of this glorious loving kindness, and it's just this beautiful energy within you. And you are someone who everyone kind of sees that in you. Like, everyone, I feel like you are someone that everyone would love to, like, kind of, oh, okay, I'm hearing maybe before you were someone not many people love to be around, but now, because you've been doing this inner work, you are now seeing how everyone just kind of, you know, takes to you so incredibly well. It's a confirmation that your inner work has been healing, like has been working. With this Seek Beauty card, it's kind of really beautiful because maybe you even took those events that transpired between the two of you, because I feel like with this Still Recovering card, it might be more them than it was you, but this person, I feel like, really does have that longingness for you, because there is something special, there is something magnetic, there is something very alluring and attractive about you. And I feel like you know, it's like, if you are someone who's spiritual and you're doing all of the inner work, this person might not necessarily be very spiritual, but they are someone who is of that vibrational alignment without necessarily knowing that truth. And you know, when you two are together with we value the same things, I feel like it's a case where you two kind of just click, and you click because of maybe your background. Like, you could have had Asian backgrounds, which you know, or maybe you've experienced something that, like, along the lines of it, but also there is that level of comfortability with each other, valuing the same things. Like, maybe you know, you both love traveling together and that's what gets you together. Or maybe you both love the finer things in life and that's what keeps you together. It's like you guys basically have that same vibrational love language, which is what you recognize, and I feel like this person definitely recognizes it, regardless of whatever it is that you do and whatever it is that they do. I feel like this person definitely knows that there is something very, very much about this connection that does not compare to any of the previous connections that they've had, and they know that on a very core level. I am still recovering. I feel like this person, or maybe you guys, you're still really, like, I feel like you might be someone who's inviting more love and love and love into your heart space, into all the wounds, into all the places, and you know, I feel like this person is getting better. Like, this person, like, they could be someone that's quite structured or hard-hold, or, you know, in the outside world, but underneath they are like this light play kind sort of individual. So, you know, there is a softness and a sweetness to this person, regardless of how they are perceived in the outside world. So it is a really beautiful connection. I would also probably say, if you two have been together, there's a very sexual, passionate connection between of you, which feels like very much in alignment. But I do feel like there is no communication at the moment. And there will be communication. It is a case of embracing. Right now, I feel like you might be the ones that are flourishing, releasing and letting go. And this person is looking from the outside in, almost being drawn and compelled to you in many, many beautiful ways. So if you are someone who's in the process of letting go, I do feel like that is obviously working for you. Okay, so those feel like my messages. I mean, they're very, very beautiful messages. I recognize, yeah, so whatever has transpired, I do feel like, oh, if you guys have been seeing 4-4 anywhere, that could be a very particular number for you guys, where if it's showing up, then you know that this person is always thinking about you. It's so interesting, tuning into this pile, and when I was tuning into pile number 3, there was like such a push, like a bit of an, like, I don't want to say an aggressive energy, but it did feel a little bit aggressive. And then you could tune into pile number 3, and then it's like, oh, it's beauty, it's love, it's light, it's happiness, it's almost like this kind of playful, like, sweetness and spirit between the two of you, and knowing that actually, you know, when you put work aside and everything, life was really all about enjoying it to its fullest and not even compromising in it in the slightest. It's almost like you both really innately knew what life was about, and that's what kind of keeps the two of you so drawn together in many ways. So let's have a look at these cards, the tarot cards, and what they have to say. Yeah, so like I said, I do feel like this person is going to be coming back. They do really like you. There is a new beginning. I feel like this person may be getting like some level of promotion coming up, or like rising. A decision. Yeah, okay, so I feel like maybe their work situation might have been hanging in the balance, but actually it's all going to be working out in their favor. It's a decision to kind of like have some sort of new beginning, not only just with their work themselves. I feel like promotion, when I saw the Emperor, it was like promotion kind of came out. But it's also really kind of putting a strong foundation, like a solid, like making a bit more of a solid offer. Maybe when you guys met, it was like a little bit of like those frivolous, or it was kind of just fun and light-hearted. But now it feels like it could be like a very solid, it could be like a very solid offer. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we have a King of Wands energy. We do have the Knight of Swords. So this person could be Aries, Leo, Sag, or it could be Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Energy. I just want 2 cards. Yeah. Okay, we got the Lovers. This person is definitely in love with you. They know it. And then we have the World. I'm sorry if this is not looking very, that did not help in the slightest. Let me just move it like this then. Oh, that looks way better. Okay. Whew. Yeah, I feel like this person has definitely made the decision to kind of give you the world, and maybe before it wasn't necessarily, how do I say it? Oh my goodness, Spirit, kind of give you the words. This would be fantastic. Okay, I think what I'm trying to say is like maybe it started off with like a one-night stand, or like a play thing, or like a sex fun thing. But it is now evolving into a space of, yes, this person does want to have everything with you, and they want to give you the world. They do want to give you the solid offer. They do want to have everything with you, because they understand that this connection was actually something completely profound. With this kind of red ribbon between the two of you, I do feel like the moment you guys kind of met and connected, it was kind of like, you know, you both would have had similarities in like your upbringing, or like, you know, how you were handled, or like maybe you guys even like were like childhood brother school, sister school thing. Like you have this kind of resonance with each other, right? it feels like there is some element of nostalgia and of play. And it also feels like, you know, it's that energy of, I can let go of all my inhibitions and be myself with you. And that is something very rare, I feel, for this person. Like I said, I feel like this person, when people view them, or when women even view them, they see them as something quite hard, or like hard was definitely coming in with the austerity and the authority. With the King of Wands, of course, there is that level of charm and charisma, but of like, I hold the power type thing. And that can be very intimidating. Like, I feel like this person may have had situations or previous relationships or previous flings of fun where, you know, the woman, or I say the woman, it may have been the man as well, would have not necessarily felt like they could be on that equal wavelength to that person. But this person, I feel like you are someone who's come along, and because there is this kind of you know, similarities between the two of you, but similarities in the sense of like, you know, the childhood and or your schoolhood, or, you know, your parents, like, you know, being very similar. Because of that, it's almost like the outside world kind of broke, and suddenly it was this other beautiful connection. I feel like with the Lovers and the World card, this person really has decided that they kind of really want to give you the world. They want to do everything. They want to have everything. Of course, there is some sort of healing that kind of happens. You know what? It could be still recovering, because maybe you are someone who said, maybe it's just one of those moments where you realize you both had feelings for each other, but then because of the energetic alignments of, okay, we were just having fun, but now, where is this really going? This is kind of what I'm really picking up on. And I feel like, you know, with the Lovers card in the world, this person wants to give you the world. They want to have that connection with you. And I don't feel like this person feels that they're going to be able to find that with anyone else. And they are going to be taking very fast action. I feel like, you know, the way I see it is like, this is the past, this is kind of like present, future, present, and then future, future. So the future is definitely showing me this person wanting to kind of give you the world. It's really like almost this decision to kind of really open up their feelings and actually like go for it, actually do it. But with the Emperor and the Knight of Swords, like, this is definitely suggesting to me someone wanting to take swift action. Now something has been resolved in sort of their work situation, and a new beginning has unfolded for them. Or when I say new beginning, it could be a new workplace, but it could also be someone who's just leveled up to the next wavelength. I feel like this person is directly looking at you, like, yeah, they will take action for sure. I just kind of want to see, oh, okay, at the back of the deck there was the Ten of Swords. So this is definitely suggesting to me, if it looked like it was an appeared ending, okay, those two cards wanted to really come out. I kind of want to have a look. Yeah, see, Ten of Cups. So this, oh, I put this up right, and then Two of Cups came along. Oh yeah, hello, okay. I mean, and then Ten of Pentacles as I just kind of open the deck. So wait, we're gonna throw that there. Even though it looked like an appeared ending, so whatever has obviously transpired between the two of you, and this may have been even like to an extreme level. Like maybe, you know, it was like door slamming. No, never. Okay, that was a bit of exaggeration. Maybe this person like just probably just blocked you or something. Appeared ending. I'll tell you what the universe has kind of done. That needed to close. That needed to close to open the new door for the two of you, right? So the old energies needed to leave, and the new energies needed to be conspired and brought together. Appeared ending. And it, in this appeared ending with the Nine of Pentacles, the Star, the two, I think the Ten of Cups came out first, and then the Two of Cups. Oh, hang on, they're saying something about the energetic alignments. So you could be someone who's like on social media, or put it this way, the moment you start putting all your focus onto you, there is something about rising to fame, really sorry for Pandora, or rising to the stars, rising to a level of success, being out there in the public, being sort of seen. Now, I'm not saying if you need to be that in order for that to kind of unfold, but what I am seeing is you kind of move into those energetic alignments. So it's almost like this old chapter had to end, the energies had to be cleared out, had to be shifted out. You, I feel, needed to take the action to, get the dreams going, to build certain things and do certain things. When you pull that focus back onto you, the decision on it's not even that, I feel like they've already made the decision, but it's like they can then take the action. This is energy, right? Energetic alignments. They can then take the action to basically be part of your life, right? Because if it's kind of like energy, it's moving, and vibrationally you are therefore aligned for the new part of being together, right? I really hope this makes sense, because I just see energy and I'm a bit weird, but it's okay. It's all okay. So you needed to take action towards bringing your dreams and your visions and your goals to reality in order for this person to energetically shift into, okay, the role that they need to play, which kind of feels like a little bit of a provider role, because that's the funny thing. I don't know if anyone watches like David Morrell. He's really cool on TikTok. And he talks about the divine masculine energy is someone who is a provider. But being a provider is really the energetic alignments of allowing the woman to feel or have that safety and security. And in that safety and security, not saying that she can't have safety and security in herself, because that's the idea. She has to really be safe and secure in herself. But it's just an energetic alignment. And in that, she can shine. He always says that the woman has to shine. The woman has to be the one that is the shining star, really, of the show, now moving forward. And sort of like the guy, like he says, like divine masculine is more like kind of the the back row. And it feels like this person definitely had more of those alignments. Should definitely check out David Morrell, by the way, on TikTok. So so I feel like because you then propel yourself into these archetypes of being the shining star, being the shining bright light, you are taking the action steps towards it. So you don't have to become it, you have to take the action steps and make it happen and see for yourself all of the things that happen in alignment. Then the rest of it can actually unfold. Them taking action towards this connection, really wanting to have that family and the children, and wanting to create the wealth between the two of you. That's the world you both want to create. And I feel like you're both on par. You're both like vibrationally aligned with the visions that you want to create for both you and this. Like basically this is what I mean. Like you both have that vibrational alignment where you're very similar. You both have very similar outlooks as well. And I think that this is what is really going to be unfolding for you. Okay, so I do hope you enjoyed that reading. I am sending you all so much love, light, and blessings. Bye now. Okay, so this is for those who chose pile number 4, which is open up. Sorry, it's like, it's not that busy today. So we got open up, pile number 4. I kind of love it. we have open up, and then actually one of the big cards that came out was openness. I really love that. It's really interesting. Just before I opened this pile, I kept thinking about Andrew Tate, and I was like, okay, why the heck is Andrew Tate even like shit? I'm not necessarily in agreement with anything that he says, but it's very interesting. When I do think of him, he is someone who is very, like, unapologetically open about everything. So it's kind of interesting that this is all kind of showing up. Anyway, we'll see what the cards are more or less talking about. And I do feel like with this particular person, with this particular situation, oh, give me a second, let me just tune in. Okay, there is I mean, I do feel like there is some sort of separation. Andrew Tate, unapologetically himself, it's very interesting. I feel like you are someone who has been conforming to the world for quite some time. And so much so, it's like, here's the thing about conformity and society and the world. And particularly if you are someone from London, or I say London, the UK. Because when I grew up, obviously, and I've grown up in London, I've grown up in the UK, the school system is SHIT, because they put such powerful judgments in, and when I say judgments, they will and again, this is just me growing up. Maybe the school has changed, it has been some time. But at the time when I was doing it, it was like a very strong judgment of right and wrong. So it was almost like if you were a good girl and you conformed, you would get praised, you would get rewarded, you would get the star, you would get the small tick, right? But if you were someone that was very uniquely different and your own, and you had your own thoughts, opinions, and judgments, you would be massively kind of, you know, have a cross or judged or harshed or thrown out the classroom kind of thing. So I'm just telling you about my poor school experience. It wasn't really poor, but it was just SHIT. Anyway, that being said though, moving forward, getting back into this space, the reason why I was saying this is that I do feel like you are someone who has probably gone through life, the school system, and because, you know, let's say, oh, because the world has shown me that this is how a woman or a man is meant to be, or how we're meant to be behaved, how we're meant to be like speaking towards each other. And it's almost like you've reached this point of you have to break open. Like the idea of trying to show up as someone that you know deep down you're not, it doesn't even feel good anymore. It doesn't even resonate. So what I mean by this is maybe you're someone who will have 3 different groups of friends. One of them, you're like the fun, happy person. The other person, you know, you're this peaceful, loving thing. And then the other group, it's like, yeah, you're sassy as F, right? But it's almost like, oh my God, wow, like I keep changing myself instead of actually being aligned with who I truly am. So it's the idea of like breaking away from your limitations and the things that you have accepted as true that is simply not true, and being in alignment with the truth of who you are, with the truth of who you really are. I feel like maybe you have always taken action. So this is very different from people pleasing, as much as this has to do with being what is deemed acceptable to the world and society, right? It's like, oh, you know, if the cattle think this way, then I have to think like the cattle, right? Because then that way, you know, don't want to cause any stirs, don't want to cause any trouble. But actually, you are someone who is also a bit of an action taker. When I'm thinking about this person that you are, So put it this way, I feel like your person definitely wants to tell you how they truly feel about you. But separation had to occur because in order to come back together to reconnect, and I feel like reconnection is something you both probably necessarily want, you both have to be in alignment with love and not fear. And what is love? Love is really just this kind of eternal loving presence inside of you that's filled with compassion. It's almost like filled with compassion and kindness, but it's the ability to be vulnerable with each other. And I feel like with this person, maybe when you two get together or when you're talking, it's always like it's like this tenseness, and this tenseness, it's like and you know, you might feel like your heart is racing, and they might even feel like their heart is racing, and it's like, oh my god, like why? It's like, you know, and then suddenly it's just a case of like pleasantries between you two instead of being absolutely broken open, vulnerable, passionate, ripping off each other's clothes kind of situation. I don't even know where that came from, sorry. But you know, it's like, it's breaking free. It's breaking free from those barriers and suddenly just being like, I'm gonna be so freaking vulnerable with you. And I feel like this is why the universe has kind of sort of maybe taken you both out of each other's lives, because when you were both getting together, it was like that tensity, like the intensity, and them just being really pleasant with each other, and then walking around eggshells with each other, and it was like, ooh, like it creates that energy, okay? But the energy is actually something inside of you and maybe this person, and to break away from it is almost to be a bit like F it, I'm just gonna go for it. And when you're vulnerable, it's not a case of even the vulnerability coming from the place of fear, because that's like a place of like it's like, yeah, I really like you and you have to just deal with it. That energy is not soft. It's like you're afraid of love or something. It's vulnerability breaking down the barriers of fear, and it's, you know what, I like love you, and I mean, I'm not even necessarily saying, it's almost like, okay, I would love to have blah 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 with you. Like, you'll just be naturally able to open up your heart's desires to them with no fear of rejection, shame, or guilt, or any of that. It's almost like the constructs of the world and society and everything just does not exist between the two of you. And when you two unite and when you two are together, you can both be at that level of vulnerability with each other. And that is why I am the loving energy of the universe has come up. And this is where infinite blessings can happen between the two of you, because it's like, yeah, let me just break open, be free, be completely like naked with, you know, with you. It's all coming from a space of pure love. It's like, you know, you can never fault in those places. It's just so filled with this kind of lightness, but, you know, passionate nature. Like, I feel that basically it's like you two have like this passion in both of you. But it's like, when you've got fear around it, it's like there's that weird tenseness, and it's like, you know, like I really feel for like a lot of people in the UK, and you know, I'm kind of guilty to it as well. Like, I've had to massively get rid of a lot of the societal constructs to even like start to feel from my heart space, which is saying kind of a lot. But you know, if you have ever come across someone from the UK or anything, and particularly like if they went to, there's like even like a struggle to kind of like speak out the truth. It's almost a bit Hugh Grantish, but you know, it's I mean, I'm saying it and now I'm sounding a bit like that. But when you break that away, it's like, actually, let's just be really vulnerable. Let's just be really, and it comes from like the softness and the sweetness and the kindness and the, you know, I'm just doing this because I can, like, that's just how I feel. And it's this flow, and it's so easy, and it's so graceful, and it's so loving, and it's like melting. Like that is basically what is currently I feel about this particular connection. And the thing is, as much as it may even have to do with you and the constructs, it also has to do with this person and the constructs they've created and they've built. Because I feel like even this person has like, you know, conservative or whatever, but it's almost like, you know, being on that level of complete vulnerability, it could be something very scary for them, because they've just been constructed in such a way of, you know, showing masks and things. But it's not a case that they want to necessarily show the mask with you. It is a case of, it feels like both of you want to throw all the masks off and unite in a very loving energy essence way, but that you both have to do on your own. So that's kind of what I am picking up on. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna have a look at the tarot cards and see what they're kind of saying. Yeah, see, Six of Cups has come up three times. So I do feel like this person, if you guys are out of contact, which with the reconnect card was definitely suggesting that. Okay. Yeah, see, okay. I don't know if any of you can see this. I'm going to like move this over here and here. This may be someone, like I feel with pile number 4, this could be someone who very much likes their money. There's nothing wrong with someone who likes their money. You gotta love your money, and you gotta take care of it. You gotta appreciate it and all its magical ways and ways of doing things. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, and the world. Oh, I am so sorry about. Hey. Does that look better? Kind of. Okay. I will sort this out at some point. Let's just move this up so you can see. So with the Devil card and the Two of Wands, that was definitely a strong indicator of, like, you know, being chained up by sort of like the world and the society. And it feels like both of you kind of have that little construct or that constriction between the two of you. That being said, though, we've got the Six of Cups and the Page of Cups. This is definitely suggesting to me there is this sort of sincere and sweet love between the two of you. Like, it is so sincere. Like, it's so good and kind and loving and just and beautiful, but it's almost like it's being shrouded by the constructs, by the limitations of fear that is like, you know, the limitations of fear that you've kind of created within yourselves. And presently I feel like this person is trying to manifest sort of a situation, or like, I feel like this person is definitely a powerful manifester, by the way. Like, this is someone who can naturally make things happen, but this is also someone who won't necessarily settle for anything less than what they want. So they will naturally be a little bit picky. But with the King of Coin here, this is definitely someone who, on the coin level or on the money level, they are financially stable and very secure in who they are. That being said, though, they are a little bit like conflicted with you. I feel like this person feels a lot of passion. Like, they feel very sexually attracted to you. They feel like you're very magnetic in a very alluring way, and a very like, there's a lot of like sexiness in what they see in you. That's what it is. but there's also with the Five of Wands, it almost feels a little bit conflicted. It feels conflicted because, okay, I just want to see if what I'm hearing is, yep. Okay. Got Two of Cups. Why is it conflicted? We also, I did see the Ten of Swords, and then when I shuffled it, it decided to pop out. Okay. It's conflicted because there has been some sort of ending. Let me just tune in. Oh, it's so interesting. I've never seen that. Is it? Possibly. Okay. It feels like there's a little bit of an internal confliction, even though they feel that passion, even though they feel that kind of, oh wait, of course there is like a separation. They feel a lot of love. They do feel a lot of passion. They feel a lot of sincerity towards you. There has been some sort of ending. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this person may, and this is not to like trigger you or anything. It is definitely not to trigger you in the slightest, so please don't take it that way. Because what I'm actually seeing is that I feel like this person feels like like no one necessarily kind of compares to you. But with the Five of Wands, it feels like they're, put it this way, it's almost like, it's almost, I don't want to say competition, because that's not what it's like. It feels like there was just so much, right, there was just so much conflict, I think, with the tensity. Like, if you, like, because there was so much tensity between you and this person and the inability to break those fears and be vulnerable, it kind of created some sort of like conflict, and maybe this person potentially kind of ventured elsewhere. But to be fair, what I am seeing here is that no one really compared to you, because we have you with the World, and with the Queen of Cups, I feel like you are someone very intuitive. You could be psychic, you could be a light worker, you could be a mystic, but you're very emotionally soothing. You're very graceful and loving and kind. You're sweet. I feel like you're just someone who's not needy, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't feel like you're someone who's very needy. I feel like you're someone who will naturally let go of things with ease, joy, and grace. But what that does depict to me, because we've got the Seven of Cups and then we've got the Four of Pentacles, is that even if this person has been with other people, or like ventured out, the scenario that this person will play out is that they become needy of him, and that's like a very clingy energy, and you're like not very clingy at all, and that is because with the Four of Pentacles and the fact that it comes with the King of Pentacles, this is definitely strongly suggesting to me that this individual may attract other individuals. Oh, so what I said is basically true. This person may attract individuals who want them for their safety and security. And with their safety, yeah, that's what I'm hearing. It's like their safety and security, but what that means is it's like they'll like that person because they have the coin. Like, not necessarily the most loving and the most passionate connection. And the thing is, like, a lot of people don't realize that, but that is like an energy around, again, you know, it can really make people think like, oh no, I genuinely do really like this person, And it's not because of that, it is because of who they are. But actually the energy is, no, this part of my energy is not fully filled. That person is going to fulfill that need. Okay. And that may be what this person attracts. But, you know, I feel like you are someone who might be very stable and you're very secure, but you're very sincere. And this is kind of why it shows me that this person wants to take action towards this particular connection, because there is that level of sincerity and love. It feels like on so many wavelengths, it is unconditional love. It is very much this unconditional love for that person. And I feel like that's kind of why this person wants to take action towards this particular connection. But yeah, again, this kind of comes down to what I was picking up in the oracle cards, and that is the energy of breaking free from the fear-based limitation. So the tensity, the things where society said you have to be this way, or you have to behave this way, or you have to do this, or you have to, you know, and you break away from that so you can just both vulnerably be like two beautiful light beings, or beautiful beings, just embroiled in each other's embraces with no inhibitions holding you back. And that's where, you know, the beauty and the love of that connection can really flourish. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm picking up from this particular connection. So I hope that helped. I am sending you all so much love, light, and blessings. Bye now.